Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition, a Degenerate Friday edition of the Morning Briefing. I'm Jeff DeForest, along with Mike Lubie. Very happy to have you along for the ride here. Pardon me for 1 second while I take a swig off this formaldehyde. Oh, that's bitter. Oh, my God. Nothing like gargling with embalming fluid to start out the day. And that's where we should be, Lubie. Wow, well, what a burial last night. Did you contact that Fred Hunter guy, the guy that owns all the funeral homes? Oh, I think he's out of business. We would see if we could get a new sponsor for the program, more appropriate, because we literally buried everybody yesterday. I mean, it was just unreal with our opinion about the Dallas Mavericks so far in the series, not looking good, and certainly game one getting 6.5. That was like getting knifed right in the back. It was particularly ugly. Now, if you are betting, we hope you're having more success. There were a lot of people, including our man Troy West, who joined us with another winner. He's 2 for 2 on the program here with our Daily Degenerate segment. And I guess picking against the Marlins is not exactly a tough choice, but
good for him.
Managed to score with the Rays. And, of course, you could have just doubled up on that and continued to pound that into the ground, because they were going to lose every game the rest of the way, or so it seems. Now, if you aren't betting, I'm hoping you're having success. And BetOnline is the number one source for NBA Finals action, Stanley Cup playoff action that gets underway tomorrow. The finals, the Panthers going against the Edmonton Oilers. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. You get it all on BetOnline. When the game's over, you can head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games that are available to you. Head to the website today to get in on all the action. Use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your very first deposit. That's a nice thing. Nice way to greet people. Imagine how much money you got in your pocket. 200? Okay, I'll give you 100 just for showing up. Bet online. The game starts here. Did it end last night, Mike Lubitz, watching this travesty? It's close. They're going back and forth for a few minutes, then get into the second quarter, and boom, 14-2 run. I guess that was at the end of the first quarter. The Boston Celtics opened up and really never looked back. Luka Doncic got hot for a while, brought the Dallas Mavericks back within 8 at one point after they were down 30 in the first half. An incredible crush job. So you thought, maybe there's a chance here, but quickly after that, the Celtics opened up again, and that was it. They cruised to the wire and win easily in game number 1, defeating a lot of the theorists out there that thought, you know what? I don't even know if you want to comment, Lubie. Do you want to say something about?
I said the Celtics will win game 1. That's what's funny about yesterday. It didn't change my opinion at all.
No, okay. Kristaps Porzingis didn't impress you coming off the bench?
Porzingis played well in the first half. He didn't do anything in the second half. And
he didn't have to, I guess. No, he did have to stave off the comeback.
He played plenty in the second half, and he didn't do anything. Again, that's my whole point, is he hasn't played for fucking a month and a half. He came out like a ball of fire. He helped them extend that lead out. He was actually a key cog. Jason Tatum was horrendous. Didn't really do anything in the game. Jaylen Brown was good, but not great. It was Porzingis. Porzingis was the difference. And a lot of people that have been waiting for Porzingis, keep holding your breath. He came out and he played well in that first half. He really couldn't miss. He was like 7-9 or something. It was fantastic for the Celtics. He didn't do anything in the second half because, again, he hasn't played in a fucking month and a half. And I think that's going to lead inevitably to him getting hurt again, because he's Kristaps Porzingis, most brittle player possibly in NBA history. I presume by game 3 he'll be hurt again. I don't put any stock in the Porzingis thing. I thought the Celtics, whether you would have had a better game from Tatum and less Porzingis, whatever you would have had, I felt they'd win game 1. They came out, had rest, everyone telling them how great they are. The Mavs coming off 3 really, even though the games weren't tough, because every game's been a fucking blowout, 3 tough opponents to get to where they are now. Luka, by what we were hearing, I didn't get to watch a lot of their games because they were late. He looks hurt. Again, the Celtics have to face a team with their best player hurt. He was laboring pretty much the entire fucking game. And I know he's not the biggest athlete, but the dude can get up and down the floor. He looked like fucking Greg Ostertag trying to get up and down the floor. He couldn't keep up and down, and that's not his game. His game is definitely pushing the pace. That's his thing. He's the ball handler. He had 1 assist. Luka in the second and third quarter woke up and got comfortable. The first and fourth was not good. He was turning it over like he was like a big.
Yeah, just 1 assist. Yeah. You're kind of like the MAGA Republicans, though, with regard to the Boston Celtics. No matter what happens, no matter what we just witnessed, no matter how obvious the discrepancies were, you still just shrug your shoulders and say, guilty? Who cares?
I mean, if they win the series, they win the series. But
Yeah.
right now, what happened last night does not change my opinion. I thought the
All
Celtics
right.
would win game one. They did. I think the Mavs will win the series. And it didn't change. Kyrie did nothing last
Oh,
night.
he was awful.
PJ Washington was actually bad, and Luka was okay. He wasn't great.
Yeah.
So to me, like, I feel like all that's going to change. I don't see that being throughout the course of a series. As long as Luka plays, I think the Mavs will get it together, and I think they'll win the series. The Celtics didn't scare me. Jason Tatum again was Jason Tatum. Like, it's not Porzingis for me. It's Jason Tatum. Like, Jason Tatum is their best player, right? He's arguably a top 5 player in the league. Again, on the big stage, he was like, he
Didn't do
wasn't
much.
good.
Unimpressive.
But that's my thing is, I would expect more from Tatum than Porzingis. Porzingis hadn't played in a month and a half. The guy's always hurt. The Celtics fans and the NBA media he's the difference. No, Jason Tatum's the fucking difference. But if I trust Luka, Kyrie to figure it out more than I trust Jason Tatum. That's what the series came down to me, was I trust the 2 guys from the Mavs more than I trust the 2 guys from the Celtics. Game 1, the Celtics won the game. Both sets of guys were in. Like, Tatum was in, Kyrie Irving wasn't great. So to me, I think it's going to go Mavs. You
sound like Alan Dershowitz here. I mean, you're unbelievable.
Look, again, if the Celtics
big discrepancy though, Lubie, 3-point attempts, 3 points made, 3-pointers made. It's interesting that this is such a decisive and deciding stat. The Celtics attempt 42 threes in the game. The Mavericks only 27. The Celtics make 16 threes. The Mavericks 7. So if you think about that, that's roughly just over 25% from 3-point range, which you need to shoot 33% to just balance things out if you're attempting these bombs from 30 feet away from the Coke machine. And the Celtics not exactly lighting it up. That does look like it's just slightly over a little under 40% from 3-point range, which isn't horrible. But it's hard to imagine that bricks would be the decisive factor in the game. But yet that's the state of the NBA today. Jason Kidd, I can't help it. Every time I see him, I think I'm watching Harvey Mandel, right? Doesn't it look like Howie Mandel, not Harvey Mandel? Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like the guy that's about to hand some babe a suitcase and say, hey, see how much money is in there? Or talk about some guy that's spinning plates on his nose like he was on the old Ed Sullivan show and saying, wow, America's really got some talent. That's unbelievable. But we'll see if they can figure it out. Certainly didn't have a good game all the way around. Didn't get much out of Kyrie Irving. He shot a horrible percentage. And the Celtics were relatively efficient. All the other guys besides your man, Jason Tatum, they kind of played their game. I knew we were in trouble, Lubie, right after the anthem. And maybe even before the anthem, right? Where they had all the Walton tributes and then the big video and everything. And I thought, oh, my God. There's no way that the Celtics are going to lose this game now. So they're up 1-0, and we'll see. They've had their failures in the game 2 on the home wood all throughout the postseason, including losing to scrub teams that were badly compromised, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, like the Miami Heat in that second game at home. And we'll see if the Dallas Mavericks can stage. Look, we thought the Mavericks were dead any number of times so far in the playoffs, so they've been able to bounce back. But we'll see what happens there. The Lakers coaching situation. Lubie, Danny Hurley now is the number 1 guy. Is that a certainty? Somebody was telling me that it was a done deal. I don't know that it is. No. J.J. Redick seemed like an odd choice. I mean, they've done everything but offer the job to Nick Saban, it seems like. The Los Angeles Lakers, $15 million a year, the rumored tag and tab for Danny Hurley if he's going to leave the University of Connecticut. You would imagine he doesn't have much more that he could do at UConn after winning back-to-back championships to distinguish himself, especially with the status being very much in flux of college basketball. UConn certainly has its boosters that have some gelt that could keep them in the game, and they've obviously been able to keep up and keep pace with what's going on right now with name, image, and likeness. But now with colleges paying people directly, plus the NIL may get a little bit more compromising for the UConns of the world to compete with some of the heavier weights. Yep. So what do you think? Does Danny Hurley leave the cozy confines of the Gampel Pavilion and head to Los Angeles to lead the Los Angeles Lakers, which, they've been through their share of scrub coaches ever since Pat Riley left, that's for sure.
Oh, good. Go back to Riley. I mean, I guess they had Phil Jackson, so I would go more back to Phil Jackson. They've had plenty of scrubs even since him.
Yeah.
It's weird to me because Hurley got offered a boatload of money to go to Kentucky and didn't take that. And I get it. That's a tough job, and that has its expectations after Calipari, who made them a power again, was sort of unceremoniously disregarded.
Yes.
You follow that, it's championship or bust there. But I guess uh, it's still college and it's still a college power, so you're still dealing with whatever the college issues. I'm just curious what makes him want to go. The Lakers, to me, are in a really weird spot because to me, if you're getting Dan Hurley, it would be sort of almost rebuild. Like if you're getting a college guy who's never coached on the NBA level ever, not even an assistant, he's always done the college ranks. Like you sort of want to let him start over, but that's not what it's being discussed as, right? It's being discussed that they're going to keep the band together. I mean, I don't know if Dan Hurley is the guy that's going to take them. The West is fucking loaded, and it's only getting scarier. I mean, the Kings again were in the conference finals last year. On the conference, I'm sorry, the Kings last year were top 3 seed, and they were like an 8 seed this year. You have the Nuggets, who I still think is the best team in basketball, who was out in the second round this year. You have the T-Wolves who are coming. You have the Thunder who are coming, if not already there. You have the Mavs out of no one's picks is in the NBA finals. You have the Clippers who are trying to keep their like the Lakers to me would be like the 5th or 6th best team. So like, what is Hurley's coming into? But they're going to pay him to win a title. So like the expectations are going to be utterly ridiculous. Like I'm confused by this. I think it's smart for the Lakers to go after him. We've seen some college coaches have success. And I think Dan Hurley is sort of in that Brad Stevens mold where he actually did more. Stevens took Butler to really big heights, never won a title. He took UConn, which was once a power, and they felt like they fell into the doldrums, back into being a power to another level. He did something that hadn't been done in 15 years, winning back-to-back titles. He's maybe one of the guys I feel like probably could succeed in the pros. I just don't know what this job is right now. Like the Lakers were always seen as a great job. 2 weeks ago, I heard people going, how bad is the Lakers job right now? You know, and I couldn't fight them. It feels like with the LeBron just hovering over everything and AD's older now.
You get to babysit Bronny maybe if you take that job for $15 million a year. That's a high-paid babysitter. We'll see. It's an interesting proposition, that's for sure. And I don't know that it came out of nowhere necessarily, but you're right. I mean, he turned down the Kentucky job. I don't know if he knew that this was on the horizon, possibly. First time I heard his name in conjunction with the Lakers job was yesterday. Yep. And he already supposedly had it locked up, but we shall see. As we've been saying, the J.J. Redick thing seems a little bit odd because the guy has never coached at any level whatsoever. And while he may be very knowledgeable, he certainly was a smart player, and he was in the league for 15 years. You would think somebody with that kind of experience in the NBA probably would be a more likely choice to not only get the job, but to succeed at it. But Danny Hurley certainly has acquitted himself very well as a coach. Right now, we would have to say the most sought-after coach possibly in any sport, with some of the major guys who have defected and decided either to retire or go elsewhere. And so a very interesting proposition there. Bunch of stuff going on over the weekend. Today, early this morning, gets underway about 8:30 Eastern. You have the semifinals in the men's bracket of the French Open. Had Paolini and Swiatek line up on the women's side, so they're going to compete in the final. Coco Gauff, man, a tough go yesterday. Our good friend Coco Gauff from Deerfield Beach, Florida, who got in a little dispute with the chair umpire. The chair umpire didn't react necessarily in any favorable fashion to Coco's very legitimate beef that the line judge had called the ball out before it actually landed. And so she takes a swing and shanks the ball. And she expected that the point would be played over because of the premature evaluation on the part of the line judge. Chair umpire was having none of it. And Coco ended up in tears. I mean, she's wiping tears from her eyes as she's winning the next game and breaking Swiatek to get back into the match. Are people looking at me like funny? I kind of feel like people are like, what is this Swiatek? But I still don't know how to pronounce this woman's name, and I think I'm doing it right. But everybody, is the rest of the world wrong, Lubie?
I have no idea. Sure. I've never actually heard it outside of you. So I'm presuming.
This is what I got from Leslie Visser, who, by the way, was courtside with Doris Burke, who made history yesterday as being the first woman analyst ever to be on the call of a championship of a major men's sport. First woman analyst ever, Doris Burke. Worthy of that distinction, no? Doris Burke. I don't know that she's tempered her commentary at all now that she's part of the number one team, but to be respected. After a while, she kind of, at first I thought, who is this woman? And then she started to impress me a little bit. And I don't know. People are still bummed out that they got rid of Mark Jackson and Van Gundy with the team there. As I thought those two guys really helped Mike Breen, who's a solid professional, stand out. But I don't even think Breen's calls are as good or as effective or impactful because you notice the patterns more when he's not being supported by analysts that you actually are listening to. Yeah. And so you hear that same thing over and over again. Just about to doze off there with the Celtics up 30. Bang! You get that wake-up call there from Mike Breen. So the French has Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner in one of the semifinals. That's the early one. And then Zverev against Casper Ruud in the other semifinal. So delivering a lot of electricity and some really outstanding play on the red clay at Roland Garros. You got the Belmont going tomorrow. Lubie, I don't know if you have a selection there. I don't really have a strong opinion on the race. And if I did, I would ignore it if I were you, because we got a tip horse yesterday from our good friend Sheldon G, he has the Mavericks at various levels, hovering anywhere between 23 and 30 to 1. He bet the Mavericks to win it all several times during the regular season. This is a guy that sends it in pretty well. So it's not like, he has $50 on this thing. I mean, I think he's in a position to collect hundreds of thousands if the Mavericks win the series. Now, to hedge or not to hedge, at that point, don't you hedge off? And so you at least win 50 rather than lose all your money?
Oh, you definitely hedge. If they actually get to the finals, once they get there, you hedge.
Once they get there, and now you're laying probably, 2 to 1 on the Celtics. So to win 50,000, you have to lay off 100. But I think he's in a position to pick up like a substantial score. I mean, talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands if the Mavericks prevail. And it had to be particularly difficult for him to watch that game last night then. Just seeing things go up in smoke. Although you still think Porzingis, you should have bet that as a prop on Bet Online. I don't know if they offer that prop, whether Porzingis will make it through the series without missing a game.
Sure bet
that. Yeah, but
we'll see.
All right, the Belmont, though, you got Sierra Leone going, the second place finisher in the Kentucky Derby, the Derby winner. Mystic Dan is in the field, ran second, was fading a little bit in the Preakness at 1 mile and 3/16. The distance a little bit different. It's going to be back to 1.25 miles for the Belmont Stakes being run at Saratoga. Spectacular day out there yesterday. They got a huge card going today, and then tomorrow should be really something. A very competitive race, wide open. You can possibly make yourself some money betting the Belmont Stakes with a field of 10 scheduled to go to the post in that one. And then baseball has some marquee matchups over the weekend as well. The Dodgers in town in New York to take on the New York Yankees. Yankees' best team in the American League right now. The Yankees have won 8 in a row, Lubie. 8 in a row, the New York Yankees. Weren't supposed to be much this year. The White Sox are the team to get on, and you want to get not only onto this immediately, I guess we're late to the party. They've lost 14 straight, Lubie, the Chicago White Sox.
Jesus, really?
14 straight losses. Imagine if you've been parlaying a stick. Now you're playing into prohibitive odds if you're betting the White Sox. That is a certainty. The White Sox, actually today, you only have to lay 110 to win 100. If you're betting the Red Sox over the White Sox, the Battle of the Hose, as the White Sox will host the Red Sox today, trying to snap a 14-game losing streak, but it's something to keep track of. And then they have the Memorial going, the Big Jack tournament out there in Ohio. In golf, what a leaderboard so far. You have Hadwin is on top at 6 under, and then followed in order by Scotty Scheffler at 5 under, Xander Schauffele, who's been red hot all year, and he's 4 under. This guy, Ludwig Aberg, who is a red-hot young guy on the tour, he's 4 under. Colin Morikawa is right there. So very much log-jammed along the leaderboard at the Memorial, and could be a very exciting tournament as they go into day number 2 today. Cats in Edmonton, you're still very confident, Mike Lubitz, in spite of the fact that we have been a human funeral pyre here on the show when it comes to the NBA. We couldn't be any more wrong about the NBA. We've been pretty good on the hockey. And I'm still sticking with my prediction of Panthers in 6. It seems like a very solid choice. In fact, before you even ask the question, you just look at a guy cross-eyed and you're about to speak, and he immediately goes, "No, I got the Panthers in 6." Everybody's got the Panthers in 6 in this thing. I don't know. It's unlikely you're going to run into somebody who's a native Edmontonian. Is that what it would be? An Edmontonian? You don't run into a lot of people from Edmonton. Let's put it that way.
I've never met someone from Edmonton.
And I don't know that they have a large base of fans outside of Edmonton. I mean, where do you find Edmonton Oiler fans? Nowhere. Because you can't find anybody from Edmonton because nobody is from Edmonton because the only thing you'll find there is a bunch of moose. That's it. Nothing. All right. So they came to town. The Oilers got to town yesterday here in South Florida. And I think they came here to take a couple of beatings. I really believe that the Panthers will win this series possibly in 6 or sooner. So if you're inclined, you just jump on Bet Online and send it in on the Oilers right now. Because we've been highly misguided. That horse that Sheldon G gave us, and not only was he last, but literally they had to come with search warrants to find this horse by the time he got to the top of the stretch. It was unbelievable. Anybody seen BD Saints? Nope. Okay. Maybe he's going to, he came in, he left the gate at 1 o'clock and came home at about 4:45. That was unbelievable. We have to get out of here. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Bet your brains out on just about everything and follow the advice of others when it comes to the NBA. For Mike Lubie, I'm Jeff DeForest. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's edition of the Morning Briefing.